Hello, guys, and welcome back to the second panel of this series where Infamous needs to do some desperate changes if they want to still go to that major, let alone do a deep run in that majors, which is what they need to go to TI. However, that major would be great experience for them. So let's see if they can accomplish it. As BeastCoast, they're looking very, very strong, and they don't want to lose that chance. What could be some starts here, Rayuri? You talked about them maybe drafting stronger lanes. Other options here for Infamous, like how do you stop them from playing DOTP? Or Arthur. I'm sorry, Rayur.
It's kind of hard to try to change the mentality of a whole team on the most important series. They are like they need to play two best of ones to go to the major. So I think everyone's really nervous right now. They need to be careful. When these teams they have this kind of tactics to just play around one hero, one carry, etc. I think they are really outdated, like Astini just said previously. Most of the times because Dota is a game that is always evolving, always doing something new, and when you stick with that, you're sticking to the past. But one of the major problems with this is try to attack new stuff happening. It's hard to try to think out of the bubble that you team construct. So maybe they should try to play around Alone. I think Alone is one of the best mid laners right now. And the games that he had a good laning phase and he has impact, they give him rune control, etc. He shines too much. Maybe try to focus on that would be a nice option. But I don't know. It's kind of the end of the road for them. They need to play really careful, and it's a road to the major, Too much on the line.
Yep. Steedy, what are the best carries if you're Parker right now that would condition you to play kind of a dual core or tri-core? What are the best carries that don't make you the sole win condition here? Besides TA.
Jugger, Monkey, Bristol.
Okay.
Like, Bristol is not a hero he would play, I guess, but Jugger, Monkey, CK, those heroes feel really good. But already there's something better for them that now they're playing second pick. So it's harder for BeastCoast to pull those like lane shenanigans.
Okay, we're starting with something a little bit different from Infamous though, as they pick up a Dazzle. Some strong lanes for you. Dazzle's been praised for being the laner right now. Thoughts on this early Dazzle pick though?
This hero is super strong in the lane phase. I mean, the first spell, the poison, it's something. I mean, it needs to be nerfed. You can solo most heroes level one, and on the game itself, the shard is super broken, especially because heroes with illusions. If you try to pick TB, if you try to pick Naga, you're going to have a hard game because when Dazzle just punches on the fight, all the illusions are dead. I really like this hero on the meta right now. It fits too much. It fixes some bad lanes, if you pick a really great carry on the lane phase that does not have a good lane, it just fixes so much things on the game.
Okay. We'll see. This in combination with the Beastmaster seems like it's a strong start then for Infamous, but Beast will still respond. Astini, you are my gatekeeper of the 8th picks. Is this a good use of the 8th pick on the DPC?
Yeah, the hero is very strong on the meta. I think like it's a better first pick, but the hero is also a flex. They can play basically every position with the hero, but mostly position 3 mid. And they like it's a hero of a long fight. That's what you want with Dazzle. So they are going like, okay, we want to play this long fight also. I would be surprised if Infamous don't ban the Bloodseeker, because that's like a really strong long fight hero together with DPC. Also Mars, which is a hero that Whisper played really well. Some teams respect ban the hero. And if you have the Mars Arena with the DPC, probably like mid from Chryslug, coming with the ultimate, that's super strong. So it puts Infamous in check that they need to ban quite a lot of heroes that can combo well with the DpC. And here goes the Mars. And the
There goes the Mars. Yeah. It's crazy that they forced that the Starfire ban early as well. And then this time BeastCoast banned the Bat Rider, so could that be indicative of anything here?
10 seconds remaining.
So far, I can't see why.
5 seconds remaining.
Yeah, exactly. That's why. Like, are they
Yeah,
planning
they
something?
they, they,
Perhaps
they
they're planning
banned
to
Bat and they banned Monkey. It's kind of strange.
They wanted to force the Timber ban.
Yeah.
So they get like this free Mars game, but Mars was banned. Infamous, they weren't bait on that Batrider. Because I don't see like a mid laner that you want to pick that you really need to ban Batrider in this current meta.
Hero's good on most of the matchups, but it's not like, oh, you need to ban this, otherwise it's not playable on the mid, you know? Because every mid player kind of just masterize how to play against Bat. If you try to just stay safe, get your stick and early boots, and try not to dive or play aggressive, you can survive the lane, you know?
Dire team ban.
Maybe they want.
Guap. What are these bans, man? I don't.
Yeah.
This is clearly something in mind, right? I mean, I know Alone plays a good co-op and everything and a good bat, but like, there's something in mind with these bans, right? It just seems really weird and
10
off meta
seconds
for what they usually ban.
Yeah.
5
Maybe
seconds
they are
remaining.
just trying to expand the hero pool. I don't know.
Could it be that they're thinking maybe Pango mid? Could this be an indication? These heroes all seem pretty good against the Pango mid.
Dire team pick.
It's good, but on the game itself, I think Pango just trashes on cop.
Really? Oh, a lot of people think that's the counter, actually.
No, I think cop in the lane phase, it's good against Pango. But on
Yeah.
the game itself, I don't know. If Pango just blinks on the roll in most of the times, the diffuser, it's really annoying
10
against cop.
seconds remaining.
I
Interesting.
don't know.
5 seconds remaining.
They just ban Enigma. What's happening on these bans? What's going on?
Maybe they scream against each other and we are not
Yeah.
getting something.
Yeah.
It looks
Yeah.
like it.
They didn't ban the Bloodseeker and the Timber, so because they do have those great options, and Infamous they need to go with a position 4 that works. Oh, he's pretty good. No, he's like major. This guy is sick. Oh, yeah. And like he's gonna have a ward on like a tier 3 tower of BeastCoast with like 14 minutes, and people
Yeah.
will be dying on the jungle and they don't get why.
5 seconds
Yeah.
Because they
remaining.
see you leaving the base. This guy is like master level hoodwink, one of the best in the world.
That's the rotation award they love so much. I love that you point that out. They go for the Chen instead, so it's going to be their anti-Beastmaster hero, implying that Clockwork is for Schofield, which tends to be the case anyway.
Yeah, they banned the bat when they've gone for the Chen or Ink, so that might explain the Batrider ban, but I think it would be really weird to have Beastmaster mid or whatever,
5 seconds
so that
remaining.
might explain one of the bans.
Yeah, but you're right. Then you have Beastmaster mid, which is odd, right? So I don't know. I'm not entirely sold on this idea yet. Maybe this next pick will explain a little bit to us. If you're BeastCoast, what position do you pick now, Stini?
I would guarantee the Bloodseeker, but they're usually picking Chris Luck hero here, so they
Okay.
might be a hero with a bad matchup against Cop.
Okay, they're going to
Alright.
guarantee the carry. Not the Bloodseekers, the Juggernaut instead. An immediate bristle back. BeastCoast has suffered against this hero in the past, guys.
And they don't have many resources to deal with Bristleback.
Yeah.
Oh, they need to pick something in the mid lane that will try to fix this draft against Bristleback.
What are your
5
best
seconds
options?
remaining.
Void Spirit, perhaps?
It's good, but I don't think it's enough. They need something that really puts Bristleback on a danger zone.
Invoker?
They... Let me check.
Dire team
I mean, most of the heroes that good against Bristleback are Hoodwink, Inspiration, Viper, Timber, they just ban. Invoker I think is pretty decent. On the
Necro?
mid itself, I don't know, they need something that goes wrong. It needs to deal against Bristleback. It needs to initiate fights because they only have the clock. So they need someone to jump in, I think, along the clock. I don't know. Maybe Void Spirit's the best solution here.
Look, man, you have 2.5 seconds where Bishopback is facing you. That's when you get to kill him. After that, it's over. But for those 2.5 seconds, you have a chance. That's all I'm saying, Ryu.
I feel like they're gonna pick a cheese hero for Whisper and put the Dawnbreaker mid.
Okay, what do you think in cheese here?
Necrophos, I think it's cheese somehow.
Okay. Could you
I
get
don't know
something like
if Venom?
a DP, perhaps?
No, I think they
Not
have
against units.
too much damage to do with DP.
Alright.
Silencer, you have per damage. He used to play position 3 Silencer. That was I would love to see.
I really like the Necro. I think
Me too.
Necro's the best option here.
Listen,
But I feel like it's going to be
trash
strange. But on the game itself, he puts Bristleback on their danger zone, you know? Don't get half
Right.
HP or towards you're going to die.
Okay. Let's see if BeastCoast go for the Necro, guys. But if it's a Void Spirit, I will not...
Venom.
Oh, nothing, actually.
Okay.
Okay. He does have, to be fair, percentage damage now on Poison Nova, right? So he does have that percentage damage against Bristle. Is a vessel carrier.
Venom mid, maybe?
10 seconds.
Astini,
remaining.
you are very quiet, and that's uncharacteristic for you. What are your thoughts here?
5 seconds remaining.
That they can put Bristol like mid and pick Nature's Prophet against that Venom.
Ooh,
like this.
love that idea. And then they play Tricore. Astini,
Or-
forced, but Tricore.
Yeah. Because that would be the Tricore. Otherwise, you go like PL or Naga. I don't know, man. I
No,
really want to
no.
see Naga. But like
Don't
anything with
suggest it.
units is good against Venom.
Yeah, that's true.
And like, Jugger can deal with units, of course, but the other heroes don't really.
Yeah, Dawnbreaker is decent if you give her priority, right? She's not bad. What are your thoughts here?
Man, I think they're going to just put something classic on the mid itself. Don't try to do so much stuff new.
Okay. You're not a
Vo-
fan of the MP?
On this game, it seems strange. Need something to initiate on the Infamous. I don't think Evoker is that hero. Maybe a Spirit, the classic Spirit mid. Oh, never mind. Yes, I'm totally wrong.
Oh.
It's okay. Bristol back mid.
Astini, you are a god, but at the same time, god damn, why terribly?
Man, I was seriously thinking like, okay, Naga is great, Pia is great, but the unit hero that he always picks is this TB that
Yeah.
soaks all the farm, that just farm.
Yeah.
Oh man. But
It's like,
I
have you-
still, I like their draft this time, at least. I think it's a solid draft. I think they are gonna have a game. It's different than
Okay.
game one. They have a chance.
All right. Strong words from Astini because you have been pretty critical of this philosophy. But Rayur, up to you. Do you think this is gonna work out with the TB, or is it too greedy?
I agree with Fassini. I think it's a greedy position, this TB, but I don't know. I really like to see Bristol back mid. Like I just said the previous time, I'm 100% down with these weird heroes happening on the game itself. So I really think Infamous maybe have a chance to have a game right now. So maybe I'm sticking with Infamous.
It's a mid Venom.
It's a mid Veno. It's a mid Veno. That's a Chris Luck special, and that's gonna be how they deal with the Bristleback. Thank you so much. Look at this producer, always on point. Mid Veno, does that change your prediction at all, Astini?
Yeah, BeastCoast's gonna win. But it's gonna be a game at least. We're gonna have a game. We're gonna have a game.
Weak. Should have stuck to your guns. I gave you a chance, Astini. Anyway, with this, we're gonna have to see if the prediction changes, right? You just believes in Bristleback, and I know he's a true man, so he would never change his prediction. So we're gonna go over to game number 2 between BeastCoast and Infamous, and see if it is gonna be the mid Venom beating the Bristleback, or if the Bristleback Dazzle combo will once again trump BeastCoast like SG did at one point in this DPC. Take it away, DkTruman and Kips.
Yeah, another game, another completely different draft coming through from both sides, to be fair. A Venomancer being secured here, Kips, and what are your thoughts about this draft?
Well, not a big fan of the Venomancer, but I'm a big fan of it versus this Bristleback. Probably one of the better picks that they could have gone in the corner that they were in. And then Infamous comes out with like, I mean, it's Parker. How?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. It's Parker. You know, in case of emergency, pull the Parker break of getting him a TB or anything else that farms the entire map. One thing that I do like about the Infamous lineup is that they are just playing a heavy armor reduction draft with that Bristle, with that Dazzle. Roche dies in seconds, enemies die in seconds. You've got so much physical damage between you. It is pretty nasty to deal with, and they will even secure first blood.
Yep. A lot of slows as well. Whereas I think for BeastCoast, this really depends more on pushing towers with that Veno, with that Chen, and finding pickoffs. Their defensive team fight is definitely okay with the Clock, the Hand of God. They have several heals coming in, but I don't actually know if they win the long team fights here, because, you know, Bristleback is the king of the long team fights, and they did not decide to actually pick up that Necrophos, which is the pick that I would have favored here.
And Dazzle's also pretty annoying in that regard.
Oh, yeah.
They also did choose to go for the Chen on Stinger, which, you know, of course, a lot of people pick up the Chen and the Enchantress to counter at the Beastmaster, but Beastmasters these days don't really care. They can easily go for the Wild Axes build. It's an option, again, for some reason. It is still a very effective tool to use, though, and definitely has kill threat if you're not careful.
The Beastmaster, one of the most flexible laning heroes right now, frankly, just because he actually has two completely distinct viable builds, which is something that you don't see in many other heroes. I'm honestly racking my brain right now for any that have like two completely viable lane builds as a core.
I'll get back to you on that one, because I can't think of any either, though. Mid, yeah, alone is already really struggling on the Bristleback. See Smile playing the heavy bully game, and that Bristle, it's probably the only lane that he kind of didn't want to walk into, and, well, unfortunately was forced to play up against.
Expecting to, second point into the Gale, and then after that we're going to go 3 points for Poison Sting most likely, and the Plague Ward Max. Or maybe C-Smile will take me for a ride and we're going to see something different, but that is usually the build for core Venomancers.
Well, alone, getting bullied all the way back underneath the tower. Just stick to hugging the tower. Don't go towards the creeps. Maybe you can get a quill spray kill on a creep. But right now that Bristle needs his bottle quickly so that he can constantly keep that influx of mana going.
Yeah, and this lane is not really going to get any easier for him. This Venomancer will keep on hitting just as hard as he did before.
Whisper taking some damage. The Affliction slow is pretty nasty to deal with, but luckily enough it's only level 1, so it won't be that heavy of a slow.
Yeah, like if you want a hero on Affliction that slows and hits really hard in the lane and then is useful after, this Dazzle is an excellent pick. Like, you could have just taken that game wide.
It's the same, but then like not useful after. Oh, Oscar
fell off a cliff and nobody mourned. Yeah.
Two lanes are going not so great. One is going very okay-ish. Speaking of which, that lane just lost their position 5. The lanes are not going too well for Infamous.
No, they are not. And that is the real question here, because I like Infamous's draft if it gets all the cores online. But if this is alone struggling for farm, Oscar having to go all of the supporting items, he's building up to a Wraith Pact already. And then Parker is sitting in the jungle with his, his 0 deaths and 0 kills. Then yeah, BeastCoast is just gonna walk all over them again.
I see Smiles also going for the urn, which he's getting delivered soon enough. Spirit Vessel going to be very hard to deal with. Alone is trying to pull the creeps from behind the tower, and C-Smile knows what he's trying to do, and in comes Gojira pushing Alone back. He doesn't have a TP available. Battery Assault comes in. He does need to be a little bit careful on the clock not to die to Alone. Does he get a range? Yes, he does. And Alone is very slowly but surely actually looking to possibly maybe get something done onto C-Smile. Actually, turnaround play comes in. Quill sprays. Let's go. It's still a Bristle. It doesn't matter what happens. It's still a Bristle.
Bristle boy. What a hero. Yeah, and he's gonna get a full charge out of his rune here as well, and the bottom rune has been taken by... Sorry, excuse me, has been secured by Michael, so Infamous is ready to secure those as well. That was a much needed win for them.
Yeah, it's actually, you know, sometimes you always... Against Saveno, you forget, you know. It's still a Bristleback. It's one of those heroes that at one point in the laning stage you just die against. And in this situation, yeah, slightly unfortunate. Needed probably an extra rotation, but then again, your other hero is a position 5 Chen. Like, he wouldn't really do anything. He doesn't even have penitence yet, so he'd just be there as a glorified extra.
Yeah, cheerleader.
You can do it. Yes, you can get some creeps with him. If you can't do it, nobody can.
Exactly. Here, have 1.5 regen per second.
Value right. Oh, Affliction dropping low is gonna get caught inside. The Cogs doesn't have Shallow Grave available. I mean, to be fair, he can get that one creep that gives you 20 GPM. So,
yeah.
Value.
The definition of.
Where's that creep actually? I still find it weird that that creep even exists, but you know, nice addition that no one ever uses. Alone does get taken down.
Take your eyes off him. Yeah, that's the Poison Nova. That percentage damage is... You're
Parker?
a strength hero. It's gonna eat
Actually,
you.
Parker might try and turn this one around. They don't have any mana left. Whisper going for the right click against Affliction, but slowly but surely burning away, and Affliction gets the kill. He'll have Parker in the meantime. He's gonna spam his Shadow Wave as much as possible.
Yeah, like as soon as you're a melee core up alone versus Dazzle, you're gonna die. He just keeps on refreshing that Poison Touch. There's nothing you can do.
Yeah, how are you gonna be able to rectify this? Because Alone needs... he's going for magic armor, physical armor, all the armors that are possible pretty much. And top lane, Parker's just gonna get taken down because, well, there's a reason why Dawnbreaker tends to be first pick material. It's because the laning stage is ridiculously strong.
Yeah, like between the level 3 Celestial Hammer and the level 2 Starbreaker, there's absolutely nothing you can do. Not even if you would have the Sunner online. I don't actually think he gets swords in edgewise during that combo.
And then you just get a heal bomb from the sky and you still die. In the end, because that's one addition that he has up his arsenal. If they fight on the side lanes or in mid, he can join his teammates in the blink of an eye. Michel is trying to defend the tier 1 tower mid, but needs to be careful because it's a level 8 Veno, and he's getting reasonably close to that spirit vessel. Regen room bottled up as well, so he can just spam as much as he likes, and Alone he's just trying to find an avenue to find some farm.
Yeah, but nobody can hold his mid tower right now, especially not since Seasma actually did deviate from the build. He's got full Gale levels just in order to be able to kick Alone out. The siege is not quite online. Hey, he missed a Gale. Roar is here.
Yeah, they're going in. Do they get the kill? The heal is coming up on top, but they will find the kill on C-Smile. Whisper does do a lot of damage, and they have the dots on them. Alone kind of needs to get back. Oh, Gojira looks absolutely being ravaged right there, but should be able to stay alive, and the Shallow Grave can't keep his teammates alive forever. You need to disengage. Oscar, I mean, he has Poison Nova, no other dots, so now didn't necessarily have to walk back, but it was at least a kill secured onto Chris Luck.
Yeah, and a little bit of a stall for the imminent destruction of that middle tower. And Infamous, their rotations toward mid are so crisp. They're one of the teams in this upper division that plays the most importance on controlling the minute 6 rune, on controlling that middle tower, and here again they show off. If you try to win your mid lane, you're going to have to be very sharp indeed. They will not let you take it easily.
Yeah, First they sent the Bristle mid, doesn't really work, then they sent the Hoodwink in mid, doesn't really work, and now they're sending in the Beastmaster, who's got level 3 wild axes. He doesn't even have to get close to the creeps. I guess that's probably your best bet, just don't get close to the Venomancer whatsoever.
Yeah, but it is unfortunately the death of the Beastmaster naturally pushing through that bottom tower. The bottom tower has barely taken any damage. K1 is now completely free. He's going to be finishing up the Maelstrom in like 2 creep waves, which is the farm wars are going to start very early this time around.
Dire's top tower.
I did go for the Maelstrom rush. I have seen Ramses from VP run the Midas into Maelstrom a lot of the time lately. And he's honestly stomping every team with it. It's actually remarkable to see. I casted a total of 6 games of him, and he won all of them with the Midas into Maelstrom. So I think he might be on something.
Yeah, like, when Ramses is in a mood, he knows what's up.
He is a pretty big beast. Seasmell doesn't have boots yet. That's how little he cares in this mid lane. Just spamming out the Plague Wards, got that Vessel completely done. Boots are just an extra. To be fair, he doesn't even have feet.
Dire's middle tower
Yeah.
is under attack.
Where's he gonna wear them? Where's he gonna go?
He's just a
He's
snack.
just gonna sit
Tower
here.
is under attack.
Oscar has given up on this lane now too.
Yeah,
Just
Michel,
let
you
Michael
can do it
take
again.
this.
Just hold it down as much as you can, but in all honesty, that's not much, especially with the double Centaur and Ogre Frost Mage walking forward to push out the tier 1 tower towards mid as well. They already got bottom lane, and they're trying to hamper the farming position of Parker completely. Of course, they still need to get rid of the tier 1 tower top, but it's kind of hard to push out bottom lane if your tier 1 tower is gone on the side of Infamous. He just has no backup, and it's very terrifying.
Yeah, you get so much advanced one guys one at a hook shot online. That Dazzle is toast.
Shallow Grave at the very least, but he's got dots upon dots upon dots. So he'll just immediately die afterwards.
Middle tower is under attack.
Net worth wise,
I
3k
think-
net worth lead. At least Parker's keeping up, you know. But that's kind of what we were saying last game the entire time. At least Parker's keeping up. Eventually, he was the only one that was keeping up. And you really can't have a Bristleback go that same route. Especially a Bristleback. Because if he doesn't get a decent amount of farm, that hero is also an extra creep. In comes the heal bomb up on top. Can they get the secure kill going in for Oscar? Whisper is pretty fast with those phase boots. Will be able to get the kill. Parker doesn't actually have the mana for meta. And needs to be careful. Ulti from Veno being used. Affliction again with the Shallow Grave keeps himself alive. Alone comes charging in, and they're going to go for the TP attempt out. Seasmell cancels the TP. Hand of God comes in, and Seasmell, can he kite out Alone as much as possible? Alone's actually getting body blocked in the process. This is actually really well done, but Seasmell still dies in the end, just at the very edge.
Oh, he does not get the XP for that. That's so sad.
Is under attack.
That was incredibly close. I can't believe I mean, they can get the kill there, right? And I think that is more valuable. Here you see it again, like the 4-man style of BeastCoast. That decision making right there, he says, alright, it is more important for me to creep the Bristleback down than it is for me as a Venomancer to have a good game. He understands that perfectly, and that's how he get the decision to cancel the TP, risk his life for the outplay. And I think to him this is worth it, even though he died first. Doesn't matter, he did his job, he kept the Bristle down.
Parker pops his meta to get the tier 1 tower bottom. Nice hook shot in from Gojira, pushes them back, except for Michel, who's going to quickly sharpshooter himself out of that trap, but the tier 1 tower will be secured by Parker. However, Seasmile is going for the immediate Ags rush after his Spirit Vessel. That is going to be a lot of percentage-based damage.
It's going to be insane. And the cooldown decrease is very important here as well. Like, Infamous is running a pretty low cooldown draft here, especially with their 4. Of course, you are bound by the meta if you bring a carry in, but Bristleback, one of his powers is that he wants to constantly go. You need that cooldown reduction if your Veno is the way of stopping him off.
It's actually a little bit surprising to me that I don't see... I get that he's rushing BKB on alone, but Lotus Orb would also be a pretty nice addition for the team, just in case, well, just against the Feno, because that's the only one that's really doing him dirty every single fight. It's just the Feno, the slows, the nastiness. I guess BKB does the same, but you know, you also get a nice bit of armor, regen, which are also lacking on the Bristleback for the most part.
Yeah, I guess the BKB is quite a bit of damage though on the strength hero especially. And there's more to be worried about than just the Venom, unfortunately.
That is very true. This Clockwork that gets the very nasty hook shots, just barely misses the mark. But yeah, you also in the meantime, all of that's going on, have K1 just AFK farming, the Juggernaut's got the Maelstrom done, he's going for the Manta, he's pretty much going for your basic win build, eventually get the Shard with when you've got the Mjolnir, and then you just solo an entire enemy team, doesn't matter what heroes they have.
Yep, and I just want everybody to be looking at like the position of the heroes here right now. Like this triangle has just gotten invaded, Parker has squeaked out the back door, while K1 has been on like a tropical island getaway. There's nobody here, water is crystal clear, not a single piece of trash on the beach. He's on a vacation, man. Parker's scraping together a living on this contested middle lane.
Oh, they're going in. Nice pushback onto 2, but yet they're not even considering contesting for a fight here.
You're such a clusterfuck of creatures in there.
Yeah.
We did not have any way to clear that.
Even if you had the chance to clear off these centaurs and such, you still have to deal with all the plague wards, which are a pain. Because they do tend to have a decent amount of HP. Especially the supports really despise them.
Yeah. Have you ever seen pictures of a rat king? Like one of those rats that's gotten completely tangled together, so it's one big clump? That's what it looks like.
A rat king?
It's creepy. Don't Google it late at night, folks. Nature is pretty weird.
Okay, that is just horrifying. What the? Okay.
Yes.
Well, now I have
Did you just
something.
look that up?
I just looked that up. That is a terrifying prospect. Alone is kind of stuck in the trees. He's already decided his fate is sealed. And they're even keeping out the creeps away from him and slowly taking him down.
Dies without a high five.
A Whisper, though,
Cool.
does the damage and gets the kill. Roared up in the process. Parker pop meta, but Parker's gonna dip. They're all gonna dip. But the nice cog block. Oscar is completely done for. Affliction does get the TP away, but also Parker popped his meta and just immediately 180'd out of there. Nope. Bad fight.
Yeah, I mean, he's right, because Whisper had a BKB queued up, and he's like, you know what? I have me this Mithril Hammer. What if I do not add the Ogre Axe, but I add another Mithril Hammer? This is ostensibly an offlane Dawnbreaker, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, Deso, he's got the shard now as well, so you don't have to buy a BKB, because your 1400 net worth investment gives you a BKB every 11 seconds.
Yeah.
Which is still something that needs to be nerfed into oblivion.
It should. I think I talked about this like in literally the previous game I cast, but like you get magic immunity and free movement during that thing. Like that's two incredibly powerful abilities where most like or at least a bunch of hero shards do like half a thing.
Yeah, you've got like Hoodwink. Yeah, I create the decoy illusion, which is pretty nice, but nearly everyone realizes that it's an illusion.
Yeah.
They're like, okay, just ignore that thing that's walking right for us, surprisingly enough. TB's one is still trash.
Yeah. It has some late game uses. Like Venomancer gets bigger Gale.
Plus summoning 2 Plague Wards, which is kind of annoying.
Yeah. They're pretty annoying. Like, are they magic immunity annoying?
Well, no. but supports are dead.
True.
I gotta think of everything as a support. And most of the game sucks that way. Not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Any Slark and Zeus in an
Look at
opponent
K1.
team.
He's like, there's a camp here.
I can farm
Parker is
creeps.
farming it.
Omni quickly to get rid of Affliction before he can get the Shallow Grave off. Roar does come out onto K1. They're going to go in. Actually, Whisper is surprisingly enough the one with the Aegis. TP out from Parker in the meantime. They're looking for more. Michel trying to disengage. Whisper's on the chase. Is he fast enough? He does have a bushwhack.
Gonna get
Dire's middle tower
Bushwhack should keep him alive for now. Doesn't have Scurry though. TP. Nope. Of course, you know,
Smack.
easy peasy lemon squeezy for the Dawnbreaker.
Yeah. She got to disengage from Alone, who had just murdered the Chen in front of her. Gets another kill, and like Alone is, and now he doesn't have a BKB now.
He's,
Shot in 10.
he's gonna be chased for quite some time. Are they gonna help him out or nah? He's just pretty much done for. You can't even kite the Dawnbreaker smash anymore. Hookshot's not gonna connect, but does it really matter? Juggernaut has a very solid amount of movement speed once he gets a shard. Alone actually staying alive for a bit longer, but there's the center stomp coming in. The creep army coming to play, and including Parker with all of his illusions. There's a lot going on right now, but Parker's not as tanky as you would like to be. Does have a Sunder, does get it off onto Whisper. Good healing in return comes through as well. Oscar, nice pushback. Whisper is going to get taken down for his first life, but still has a second. And yeah, they need to dip quickly. Parker's meta is about to end as well. And they will disengage. Michel does have a nice bushwhack, but the tree does get cut. And the Hoodwink gets himself back. But it is looking fairly rough for Infamous. Alone, if he just, 200 more HP, walks away from that fight scot-free.
Yeah. Well, that was kind of one of the better fights they could have gotten in the end anyway. Like, a bunch of minus armor already stacked up from that bristleback. You have your TB with meta on the high ground. You can clearly see confusion there from BeastCoast for a little bit. Like, can we actually go in? And I get reminded, okay, well, we have heals left. This Dawnbreaker is super thick, and Whisper just makes the call to go in. It's a free Hoodwink.
Yeah, you also have the Juggernaut healing ward, which is always a pain to deal with. You need to focus it. I guess Beastmaster's okay with trying to get Boar to attack it for the most part, but those Boars are only level 1. So they just die by being in the near presence of the enemies.
They get the vapors and faint.
Radiant's top
Yeah, it's
tower
a,
is under attack.
Venomancer, toxic all over the place. He gets owned by a Plague Ward.
Yeah. Just like that.
Just like
It's gonna be
Parker. Pops the BKB. Does he get the TP? Oh, doesn't pop the BKB because he doesn't have one, but he just go for the TP. Almost gets taken down. Takes a lot of, actually in the fountain, he's dropping pretty low. Should be able to just barely stay alive, but if just a little bit more damage was dealt to the TP, he would have been absolutely obliterated. Nice blink from Whisper. Dodges the roar. Chance Oscar gets it off onto C-Smile. Michael will go for the snipe, but the Omni Slash quickly gets rid of one of the enemies, and K1's charging for more. Can he get anything secured? No, it's going to stick to the one for now. Actually, Alone, well, again, he really does his name justice this game. He is every single time alone.
Isolated. Left behind.
Yeah, he has been, pretty much solo killed, I guess, 5 times? Definitely 4.
Yeah, that's your bristleback put in the position, or I should say put in the role of a playmaker, and you are not a playmaker. All you can do is walk forward and hope they die. And it's a very tough tightrope to walk. But he's doing his job here. It's just a very thankless one.
Oh, this is what I love. I've seen this in Division 2 recently as well. Look at the Dazzle. Look at his items that he has.
Yeah?
He has Shard. Look at his level of Poison Touch.
Oh man. Which is all he's got.
Level 2 poison touch with the shard. I saw, like, there was a game I casted. I can't remember who it was, but he had max level shadow wave, max level shadow grave, and then 1 point in poison touch and still bought the shard.
Yep.
And sometimes you think,
X attacks.
really?
Yep. 4 targets are 4 targets.
Yeah, unfortunately you're
the-
playing against the Chen, so 4 targets are his creeps.
Most of them, anyway. And just a base tower for now. Like, BeastCoast is a little bit low on the stuns, so those TPs back from Infus actually paying out in a pretty big way here. They get to hold their high ground, they get to smoke out now if they would want to. Like, Gojira is just there to spoil the fun already. It's like, I'm keeping an eye on you fellas. You step out of that base, I will know.
Parker does have a BKB now, so maybe that's more of an avenue where they can do something. I guess the next Roche could be a possibility to try and yoink, but they are 16k behind. Again, it is Parker, you know, trying to compete. The rest is just falling out. Oscar's behind Stinger. Like, this Beastmaster is behind the Chen in terms of net worth. That is beyond painful.
Poor Oscar every single time, and they're all getting forced back right now because Hector just took your X.
Hey, that is so ballsy as well from Hector. Like, insanely ballsy. Still, heal comes out. He's still full HP. Does have his own healing ward as well. Alone coming forward. Omni Slash gonna bounce all over the place. Actually dragging him in towards the Dice base. Almost actually got a couple of kills there. K1 going for the TP attempt. Does get the TP to safety. All are healed indeed. Gojira will not be able to get away, so they will at least get the clockwork. But again, K1, he gets the melee racks, he gets out, and that is just the facts.
Those are the facts. That's an incredible play. They all go to the top side, rightfully recognizing that BeastCoast has all but completely backed off, but K1's just a maniac. He goes there anyway. If there's not a clockwork hookshot at just the right time there, he is toast. So he would have given his life for those racks.
Which, you know, would still not be the end of the world. C-Smile is going to get spotted. Nope. Venom pops the ulti. Parker does have a lot of damage, and they do manage to take down the Venomancer, which is a pretty big kill, but Parker is also in a spot where he... Like, that Poison Nova damage is ridiculous. They're all grouped up with the Wraithback Totem just not to die. C-Smile actually gets a kill with the Plague Ward that he still had on the high ground. He just finds a random right click onto Michael and he dies.
Absolute bastard.
Fun gaming against a Kaya Aghanim Scepter Venomancer. With a Spirit Vessel on top, you know, for extra dot damage.
And his damage output is absolutely insane. Hello?
He's looking
What's
for a
it
catch. K1, probably not the one you want to try and take, considering he took half your HP, you took nothing. Actually nothing. Stinger's farming like crazy, by the way. He's almost done with his own Wraith Pact.
Yep. And that's where it gets pretty hairy, because there's so much sustain over on the side of BeastCoast. If you... Oh, well, if you're... Not this time, my friend. Are they still gonna fight? Yeah, buy back.
Okay, going in. Nice two-man stun coming out. The Omni Slash bouncing all over the place alone. He is just gonna get the unfortunate bounces against him. Does die. They're all dying. TP's coming through. Buyback as well from the Dazzle, but it's right next to Whisper. Speaking of which, yeah, the TP gets cancelled. Otherwise, that would have just been another Dazzle. And, oh, Michel found out as well. Parker, as you mentioned, being chased. There is no hook shot available. Could go for the BKB TP attempt for now, but does he know it? He's gonna not even pop BKB. That is like insanely ballsy.
Yeah, like Whisper was already coming in, and he has a stun on that Starbreaker. Not enough time, of course, but he also does have a Blink Dagger and a Skull Bash. Like, you only need one tap. You only need to get unlucky once.
They've been getting pretty unlucky this series on the side of Infamous. Unlucky that they're playing against BeastCoast, who are getting a bit of revenge. Like making it to that major
Solid amount.
very easily, it seems.
Are you trying to jinx it? Because that's what I would say.
No,
if I
I am
was
trying to
jinx
get a
it.
game 3 here. Come on, help me, Kips.
You know, it doesn't really work on me. I'm not very good at jinxing games.
Also, Affliction continued going for Shadow Wave levels, so he still doesn't have Poison Touch max level. Yeah, Shadow Wave max level.
Yeah. Listen, 4 targets is enough. There's only 5 people on the enemy team.
Yes.
There's like
17 creeps and
Johnny
you know,
the Centaur,
anything.
Ben the Frost Mage.
Would have rather seen the Holy Locket then. I guess it gets rid of the illusions from the Juggernaut instantaneously.
Yeah. It's something.
It's also on a 23-second cooldown road now. That is a stupidly long cooldown for your shard.
Yes, it is.
Well,
Oh, and they're losing buildings on both sides now.
yeah, you can't keep them occupied that much. Where it comes out onto K1, but the heal on top will keep him going, and he actually goes back in, does have his Omni Slash available. He's going to bounce around as much as he possibly can. Does it bounce onto the right targets? Actually, K1's pretty deep. Alone's going in with right click damage. Needs to quickly get rid of that healing ward. K1 is still fighting off where Parker's trying to zone out the entire enemy team, but jump from behind. Whisper gets the heavy damage on that Dawnbreaker, has the Abyssal Blade available. K1 does scurry back to safety. Parker, however, he's got dots upon dots. Can he get away? Manta Style does heal him and get rid of some of the dots, and he walks back in towards the fountain. But you know, the fountain is not a good place to defend your base from, and they do lose the set of rack stop. And now it's only mid still left standing. Parker Shadow Blade running forward, seeing if they can get a catch. Whisper is a scary prospect though. And the hook shot. Nice catch from Gojira. Catch Parker inside the cogs. Dots coming through as well. K1 is still alive. Still has the Aegis available as well. He's looking for a fight. He has the spin to win play. Oscar is dead. Affliction. He's just going to get melted. No way to stay alive. And that should be the game. Momentarily secured in their favor. Push back. Parker. No Metamorphosis available. Does have a Sunder possibly. But he's the only one left standing. And the GG gets called. That means that BeastCoast is going to the major.
It does. Once again, it does seem to end like this a lot, doesn't it? BeastCoast looking wobbly, people have questions, and then in the end they pull through. And in style too here. This was extremely convincing once again.
Yeah, this was just, you know, both games, they really made it look fairly one-sided. Whisper played superbly, to be fair. He played Dawnbreaker. You know, that's about everything I say about Dawnbreaker players in this patch. But I do have to say, you know, that mid-Feno was a stroke of genius. Just destroyed Alone's entire game.
Yeah, and it required so much extra attention from the other lanes getting drawn over there. It meant that Oscar couldn't push through that bot lane. They lost that bot tower to K1, never got a presence on the bottom side of the map at all. And that snowballs into this place where Parker is constantly getting harassed. These Chen creeps are coming over into his jungle. Gojira is zooming around. There's Venomancer wards everywhere. And he's just trying to be this final raid boss, right? He's never going to get there this game, through the way that the macro game went.
Yeah, it was just, you know, they fell behind. Once experience starts falling as well, it becomes very problematic to deal with the Venoman, so you need like a ton of items, because you saw he pops his ulti once, you know, lengthy fights coming in, and everyone on the side of Infamous just has to go back to base. They just have to keep walking back to regen up. They don't have the sustain to survive that Veno. And he did a ton of, I mean, to be fair, the entire team did. K1 just farmed and got too big, too dangerous as well, Whisper, with the rotations in. I mean, healing-wise, the lineup looked insane as well. 10k from Stinger, you've got 5k from the Dawnbreaker, Juggernaut as well with 7k. So much healing on their side, and Infamous just lacking the damage.
Yeah, in the end they do, and this was a tricore. This was the kind of thing that they should be doing, but not without the initiation like this. Not with these more passive reactive supports. Like Hoodwink is great if you can go in after somebody else. There's nobody to go in after, and so Infamous never really gets to show what they are worth in this series, unfortunately.
Yeah, it was a bit of an unfortunate ending for Infamous's run here. They do manage to get third at the very least, but that does mean that BeastCoast and Thunder Awaken are the two teams going towards the major. However, to break this down, the panel will be taking you further along the journey. So back to you, Avo.
Thank you, Truman. We did indeed get the second finalist of the major, even if it was in a little bit of a lackluster fashion, as they just seemed like the stronger team. Guys, what can you tell me here? Like the strategy from Infamous? Sorry?
I mean, I was kind of disappointed. I felt like they were going to give BeastCoast a little bit of problem, you know? I felt like the two games was 100% draft. I mean, Infamous has the skill, the fingers, they have the play style, but something went wrong in the series on the draft. They just got out drafted really hard at 2 series, and I think that was the major problem.
Would you say that it was because Infamous forced their idea?
I felt like they were out of planning, you know? It's strange. It's hard to me to elaborate on a complex way. I just felt like they were not a team that we're expecting against BeastCoast, you know?
Astini, what about you? What are your thoughts?
Disagree a bit with Hayur that they have the play style. I guess they don't have the play style. They're great players, they're skilled, but they're playing the wrong game. Like, if they're defending Parker, like, okay, like, it was a win for them. Parker had only 1 death, like, nice KDA, but what does that bring to the team? They always been trying this play style. So, that's why they were out-drafted, because BeastCoast, they had their number, they know exactly how to counter it, and honestly, it's not that difficult. It's basically playing the meta, so Infamous, unfortunately, the meta has evolved, and they haven't. So, feels bad that they finished the season with such a performance, because they are good players, they can do really well, but I really feel that they are lacking like to update in the meta, and it's something that I kind of feel bad, because I think it's like the history of SA repeating over and over again, that you have like this player, Parker, he's shining, he's the upcoming star, he's so great, he can carry like SG out of Division 1, he might be able to carry Infamous to Major, and then suddenly meta has changed, and then they're simply not playing the game anymore. Like, those players that are really, really good, but they don't just have one play style. I'm really afraid for Infamous and for Parker. I really hope he can, like, get out of this play style and show some different Dota.
Okay. Do you think that there's more to the player, though? Okay, is there any fault that can be relied on the team, though, to a degree?
It's really hard, because it's like they're really playing around this player. So the highlights, like the spotlight is on him. That's the issue. Like, I don't want to say like Parker is the problem. He was the solution, right? And then suddenly he's not the solution anymore, and it becomes the problem. But the thing that we are able to better analyze the team when they change a play style, that they're actually playing as a team, because they're not. They're playing for one player. This for Protect 1, that is super outdated.
Yeah, that's fair enough. And I'm really curious actually about to talk to the BeastCoast guys themselves, because they also have a 4 Protect 1 style that they innovated with, but they're a little more versatile most of the time. That's why we have their one here to talk to us, and it's Hector who's on the line. Okay, sorry about that. There we go. There we go. Oh, all right, Hector is here. However, Hector, ¿me escuchas? ¿Estás ahí?
Sí, hola, ¿tú me escuchas?
Sí, te escucho. ¿Tienes luz? Ahí está. Gracias, gracias. Ok, genial. ¿Cómo estás, Héctor? ¡Felicidades! ¡Vas a la Major!
Sí, pucha, qué bien, ¿no? No, no,
Sí,
sino que
entonces-
estoy un poco triste o sea, porque pasó lo que pasó, ¿no? Eso de Reddit y me sentí mal porque yo cagué a mi equipo, o sea, ya habíamos screameado y todo y puta, por mi estupidez pasó eso, ¿no? No fue algo tan grave porque con Febi estaba en buenos términos, es causa y todo, pero los peruanos hicieron mucha leña al fuego y tienen razón en sí, ¿no? Porque no debería hacer eso.
So unprompted, I didn't ask him about this, but I said, aren't you feeling happy? He's like, yeah, I'm feeling a little bittersweet. I'm feeling happy because I'm going to the major, but on the other hand, I'm feeling sad because of what happened, right? As you guys know the situation. He says, these things happen on social media. They happen on Reddit particularly, and this thing I said, which was a stupid thing to say, it led my team to lose a game, and that felt really bad. And it feels, he's saying, it's like, I'm friends with Febi. It's like that's not the problem. That I didn't feel like I was offending him, but at the same time. A lot of wood got added to the fire when I made those comments, and I feel like the Peruvian community took it a little bit too far, and I think they're kind of right. It was a stupid comment to make, and it was dumb, and it feels bad to make my team lose a game because of that, so there's that bittersweet feeling. Pero recuperaste igualmente la última partida, quiero decir, aunque tuviste una partida extra en la TIEBREAKERS, dominasteis, quiero decir, recuperaste tu honor, se podría decir, Héctor, ¿no? Con esta partida final.
Sí, sí. O sea, te hablo que individualmente como player, o sea, sí
Claro,
me
claro.
molestó, pero mi equipo me apoyó, conocí, o sea, ya la cagada está normal, Tito tranqui, porque cuando mentalmente como que yo estoy cagado es como que fuentes, ¿no?
Yeah.
Pero me sobrepuse ya, chill.
Because when that happened, it's like he's talking about us about this as a player, not as a team, right? Like when this whole situation happened, he felt like he was bit supported by his team, and he felt particularly awful about the whole situation, both about offending his friend and about the idea of losing his team a match. And as a result, his team supported him a lot. They know that when he's in a bad mental state, he just doesn't play, and so thanks to their support, he was capable of bringing it back, and that really helped him out. And that's why he's now chill. He's fine. Está genial no tener un equipo así, por eso. Quiero decir, entiendo, ¿no? La presentación es genial, pero que está genial tener un equipo así. Quiero decir, el apoyo que te dan en situaciones malas, eso es muy valioso. No todos los equipos tienen eso.
Sí, ya los conozco tiempo, ¿no? Y el más zorro viejo que es Stinger es como que el más sabio, ¿no? Cuando quiere.
Cuando quiere.
Y eso es bonito, ¿no? Supongo que los equipos similares así serían Thunder y tal vez Infamous, que parecen unidos así, como si fueran primos, hermanos, no sé.
As he says, yeah, it's nice to have support from my team. Like I've known them for a really long time, and someone like who's an old fox, a wise fox, would be Stinger, right? And he's wise when he wants to be wise, right? And it feels nice to be with a team that supports him that way. And it's just something that you can have with teams that have been together for a long time. He feels like other teams like Thunder or Infamous might have that relationship too, where they feel like they're cousins there. Para ti, BeastCoast, bueno, BeastCoast no, o sea, el equipo en sí, tus compañeros son como la segunda familia, se podría decir. ¿Son amigos muy cercanos para ti?
Creo que sí, porque ya los conozco tanto tiempo, sé muchas cosas de ellos, ellos saben muchas cosas de mí. Sí, se podría decir que sí. Literalmente la mitad de mi carrera como pro player los conozco, ¿no? O sea, o más de la mitad, creo, mucho más de la mitad.
Sí, más. He says, yeah, I've known it for so long. I feel like I've known best. They're some of my closest friends because I know some like really intimate things about them because I've been with them for so long that yeah, more than half my pro career I've been playing with them. ¿Sabes que sois el equipo actualmente que más ha durado juntos en la historia del Dota?
¿Ah? No
¿Sabéis
creo.
que sois el equipo?
Actualmente sí, pero seríamos el segundo, porque creo que Liquid estuvo junto más tiempo, el de Miracle con Win Control. Creo que ellos
No, porque
están
cambiaron
ya...
un jugador.
Pero estuvieron como
Pero
tumba
ustedes-
como 3-4 años, creo.
No, llegaban 2 años
No
y
me
medio.
acuerdo.
Ustedes ya no a los 3. Lo miramos otro día.
No,
la
2.
estadística.
No cuentes el año del COVID, porque el año del COVID fue Dota muerto. Vamos
Eso no
2
lo
años,
cuento
literal,
con ustedes. Ok,
o año y
ok.
medio. No, de
Ok.
verdad, es que el año del COVID para nuestro equipo, cuando pasó, fue como
Ajá.
que a nadie le importó en absoluto, o sea, cada uno estaba en su casa, era como un año muerto. No
Ya.
había como que una motivación en por sí, ¿no?
Ya,
Y ni
ok,
siquiera, o sea,
ok.
me refiero porque ni siquiera screameábamos ni nada de eso, era como que chacota, o sea, la gente estaba más preocupada por el COVID, o sea, a mí me dio COVID, a otras personas, tenían sus problemas cada uno. El COVID
Interesante.
hizo perder mucho tiempo.
Ya. So he says that I told him, it's like, yo, you're one of the longest standing teams and not the longest standing team currently after 3 years. And I was like, he's like, no, but Liquid's more. The old Liquid that won TI. It's like, no, actually, because they changed one player, that change allowed them to, like, it was like 2.5 years for them, and you guys are only 3 years. He goes, no, that doesn't count because the COVID year doesn't count for them. He says that the COVID year doesn't really count. They feel like it was just a year of their life that was wasted. It feels like they didn't really care. They weren't creating a team. They were just playing around. They didn't scrim at all. And so he feels like that doesn't count as a year spending time with the team. He feels like that was just a bunch of lost time, and it didn't really count as a year of Dota. And it was more of them like just continuing where they already were. They were more worried about COVID. He got COVID. A couple of the players got COVID. And they were more worried about that than they were worried about their actual careers. ¿Sientes como que esta temporada, entonces, hablando de lo del COVID, estás recuperando todo lo que faltó ese año?
El anterior año y este, ¿no? Porque cuando comenzó la DPC del 2021, no me acuerdo qué puesto quedamos, creo que quedamos primero o segundo y
Sí.
desde ahí estamos, ¿no? Lamentablemente tuvimos una mala actuación en la Animayor donde estuviste tú y el chino Glenn, pero en el TI intentamos recuperarnos y fue, ¿no? Lo del chino Glenn es con cariño porque es causa nuestra, ¿no?
Lo sé. Tranquilo.
Y
No
eso,
no te preocupes.
Lamentablemente en el TI no nos fue bien, pero ahora con todo, ¿no?
So he says that yeah, it feels like even though the COVID year was kind of dead, and then they started to recover a little bit in DPC, and then they remember he's remembering the beginning of the DPC year when they started the majors to start to come back in the DPC. He's like, yeah, Animajor didn't really work out for them when it was with I was there with them. He says this, not me. I was there with them, and his good friend Clem, who speaks Chinese, hence why he calls him Chinese man Clem. And also at TI, they tried to do the same thing, and they didn't feel like they performed as best as they could, and now they're starting to literally come back a little bit. And the last major was showing of it. ¿Ustedes creen que están en, o sea, si consideramos que lo que pasó en Anime y demás no fue la top forma de BeastCoast, crees que ahora mismo estáis llegando a ese punto, Héctor? ¿O sentís como que es el equipo de antes?
No hemos llegado a nuestro tope, o sea, es que somos un equipo muy raro, no somos como el Goto, que es serio, o sea, somos serios, pero no en esa forma, no sé cómo explicarlo. Creo que aún tenemos mucho por recordar, somos jóvenes, bueno, los cores somos jóvenes, los supports están un poco viejitos. Pero
bueno, tiene 25 años, no es tan viejo, Sticker.
No, 26 ya creo.
Pero tampoco está cabrón.
Aún tenemos para rato, claro.
Okay.
No estoy seguro, no sé qué pueda pasar en el futuro.
They haven't reached their top for sure. They still have a lot of time, or they have a lot of what's the word? I'm sorry, I'm blanking out. Like a path to walk for. They have a lot to grow as a team. Because he says that they're just really young, and even they're like, okay, the supports are a little bit older. He says Stigger's 26, and that's super old, but the cores are young, and they have a lot of time ahead of themselves, and he doesn't really know what the future's gonna bring them. But he says they're just a weird team, they're not like Thunder Awaken, who's more serious, and you can find like a moment where they're like at the top form, and moments where they're not. These guys are more, they're just feeling it. They're kind of going through. I mean, they are serious, but not entirely. It's kind of hard to explain, he says. And he says that as a result, they haven't really reached their top form. He's not really sure when they're going to reach it or if they're going to reach it, but that's the goal right now. Bueno, Héctor, os deseo suerte en...
No, espera, quiero mandar un mensaje porque he visto
tranquilo,
que...
te voy a decir... No sé, tranquilo,
perdón.
momentos de saludos, no te preocupes. Soy un profesional, Héctor, no te preocupes. Os deseo mucha suerte en la Arlington Major, amigos. Espero que vuestro camino a recorrer os vaya especialmente bien en Arlington. Espero que vuestro resultado mejore. Y ahora sí, finalizando la entrevista, quiero escuchar saludos a alguien.
Quiero pedir que a algunos fans que tengo, no a todos, porque sé que también tengo haters, que no le tienen tanta mierda a Madara, porque Madara ha jugado bien, o sea, los que saben de Dota saben que lo que pasó ahí fue como que no estaban preparados, el Chala y Steve lo dejaron solo a Madara y eso le hubiera podido acontecer a cualquiera, ¿no? Que si lo dejan solo al carry así, puta, es como que un off, ¿no? O sea que Madara ha tenido la gran gentileza de ayudarnos porque ninguna otra persona podía haberlo hecho, ¿no? Y fueron ellos mismos los que lo eligieron, así que no le tienen tanta mierda a Madara, que es un buen tipo y es una gran persona.
Okay. So he says that to all the people that support him, he says, I know there's some fans are haters, but I mean the people that really do support him, he has a message towards them. It's like, even though the matches with Madara did not go that well, don't throw hate towards Madara. It wasn't his fault, essentially. Like, it was a last minute replacement. He was the only person that could have done it. It was really nice that he actually came by. It was like a huge gesture from him that he came by and helped the team. And it was more like they just left him alone. Like, any carry without support in the game is going to be left alone, and he's going to be feeling like an offlaner more than a carry, and that's why he couldn't carry the games. He didn't particularly play bad. If you watch the games, you can actually watch it. He didn't play badly, and don't throw hate towards someone who's a good person he's a nice person, a nice person, a great person. He's a nice person and a kind individual. I guess that's the best way to say it. A nice person, a kind individual, and that he did them this favor. It seems a little bit unfair for his fans to throw hate at him. So be kinder to him and to stop the hate train against him. Gracias, Héctor, por ese mensaje final. Ha sido un placer tenerte como siempre. Felicidades por la Major.
Ok.
Y nada, suerte en Arlington, amigo. Cuídate.
Hasta luego.
Adiós. Hector, in an unusual way, I wish I would have prompted him. I'm usually very incendiary with my interviews, but I skirted the topic altogether. But this time he just wanted to talk about it, the situation. So I think that bodes well of him. You know, as I've always said, Hector can be an idiot, but he's not a bad person necessarily. And I think that the fact that he apologized publicly again shows. And hopefully this is another step in his path to growth, as a lot of pro players have to do. You know, young people experienced in the international culture super early. The guy's still 21 years old. It's more about learning than it is about punishing, per se. So hopefully Hector can continue to grow, and hopefully Arlington Majors is better for him. I appreciate him coming out to apologize. Stini, final thoughts on the season overall, though, as we close on this odd note. I would like to hear how you've enjoyed being part of the DPC.
Yeah, I really enjoyed. It was very exciting season.
Yeah.
It was nice to see like Infinity can take a map out of, can take a game out of.
Stop! Nobody's
Infamous.
believing you, Stini.
Wolf can
Stop.
take out of BeastCoast. No, it happened. That's why. Like it
This
happened. I'm
man's
saying
on
like
a
it was
bicycle,
exciting.
just backpedaling, dude. I didn't know you
Like,
could still do that today.
SG can play Division 1, like everything's happening, like lots of things are happening, and that's why the SADPC is so exciting. So I really like the matches that we were able to watch, and also I see that we have two very strong teams coming to the major. It seems like BeastCoast, they entered this modo serio that they play sometimes, and they already entered during the local DPC, not at the major. So I guess they'll be super prepared for the major. I'm very excited for what those two teams can show international lands.
Oh, your final thoughts on the DPC here?
I was kind of disappointed on Wolf team and Hokori. I mean, Hokori dropping to Division 2 was really really strong for me. A team that was playing tiebreakers to go to the major, then dropping the division was really strong to watch. And SG keeping himself on the Division 1 was really surprise stuff too. But Thunder and BeastCoast going to the major, I think that was the most predictable result. And I think it was a nice DPC season overall. Better than the last one, I think. And I'm really anxious to see the next one. And I hope I'll be here to cast more.
Of course, yeah, we'll also remind you guys that we also have a sponsor towards the end of the DPC that's supported us, CyberScore. If you go to cyberscore.live, you can check the live stats of all these matches or some of the previous stats if you're interested. And as we close the DPC, you know, it's been a really long year for us of SA DPC, but it's been an honor to be able to host this. For those of you that joined us, whether the first season, second season, or only for the tiebreakers for whatever reason, we do appreciate your support. And frankly, on a personal note, it's very nice to be able to host this with such a wonderful talent like Astini, like Rayur, like RDO, like Bowie, like Kips, like DkTruman. One of my personal pet peeves as an international talent who also spoke Spanish has always been that I felt like SA doesn't have enough representation. All these people, very, very talented individuals, but as someone who's an international individual myself, I know how difficult it is to get your foot in the English door sometimes, and how much difficulties and obstacles we face compared to, say, native English speakers. So it's a particular honor of myself, and I always pride myself every time I open Wikipedia and I literally see the talent list and I see 18 Brazilian flags, like we just invaded the country. It feels appropriate. It feels like what SADPC has always deserved, and it's very nice to be able to bring you a local talent that knows everything about the region, that knows the players personally, that has high-level analysis like what Euro brings, because a high-level pro player that has incendiary yet charismatic comments like Astini, that likes Terrorblade like RDO, that brings over the analysis that Bowie needs, that has studied the region thoroughly like Kips, or has casted Division 2 day in, day out like someone like DkTruman or Wingblade. These talents that work so hard to make sure that everyone has the experience you deserve with this region, that you understand that we're one more region, that we're not just the last place, that we're not just the people that go 14 at TI, we're top 6 at majors, that we're top 8 at TI, and that little by little this region is growing as it gets more and more support, and that is just a matter of time before one SA team will make it to TI and win the whole thing, and maybe that day SDD's coaching it. Who knows, man? I'd love to see that.
Hopefully.
Hopefully,
I hope
right?
you're right.
I hope I am too, STD. I genuinely hope that for you. But for those of you that have come by, I hope you enjoyed a more local broadcast, a broadcast that can bring you a translated interviews with every single player, that we're not limited by language barriers, whether it be a Brazilian player or a Peruvian or Chilean or any other Spanish speaker from South America. That you get to see a little more insight into the players' minds, and you understand that these guys are people with stories and with their own community that's valuable to be noticed and that deserves a spotlight in the international community as well. And for those of you that have fallen in love with this community, for those of you who have fallen in love with this kind of Dota, for those of you that understand that we're the growing region right now, and literally there's no other region that's growing in players of Peru. They still do. They still love this game for whatever reason. Thank you so much for the support. Thank you so much for joining us. We hope that you want to join us coming to whatever other tournaments Epulze does, and we hope that you join the next year's DPC SA as they grow little by little in viewers, and they grow ever so more as a region. Please do support the teams in Arlington Major, and we're not supposed to be biased, but I don't give a shit. Just support BeastCoast, support Summon and Awaken. They deserve it. They're great teams, and this time it's not just going to be top 6. This time they're going to go a little bit further, even with the Chinese teams at the Major. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. My name's Epulze. I've been joined with this panel by Astini. I've been joined by Euro as well. The casters, Kips and DkTruman, that brought us the final game. In these games, Gareth, Bowie, Winter, RDO, also previously Sexy Fat as well. King RD joined us, Duster joined us, all the wonderful interviewees, Mr. Fish himself, Rui, our social media manager, our wonderful observer, Ooh the Magical, all these people made this season possible. Even Richie, Seek and Strike Dota came by for a couple of games. Thank you so much to all these people that made SADPC what it was, and thank you viewers for watching us day in and day out in this arduous world that is the longest league that we've ever had. And I hope to see you in the next SADPC, in the next Epulze Gaming Tournament, and in the next, wherever our paths cross, in another Dota day. It's been a pleasure. And now, finally, and for the last time ever, goodbye.